Nnobi was a beautiful village in eastern Nigeria, surrounded by thick forests and fertile farmlands. Life was simple, but peace was scared. Yet, behind the laughter of children and the songs of women at the stream, there was a darkness that people whispered about. That darkness had a name, Adaeze. He was a wealthy man, feared by many. His compound was the largest in Nnobi, with red earth walls, tall palm trees, and goats bleating in the yard. His wife, Amaka, was as ruthless as he was, and together they lived like kings among the poor. But deep in the hearts of the villagers, people knew that their wealth was stained with blood. Many families in Nnobi remembered how they lost their lands. Some had even forced to sell for little money. Others had resisted and vanished without a trace. The most painful of all was the Okeke family, whose fertile farmland stretched across the hills. After a quarrel, their sons disappeared. Their father was found dead near the stream, and their lands became Adaeze's own overnight. Women wept in silence, but no one dared to speak openly. Everyone knew that Adaeze was behind it, but fear could not make them to talk. The villagers swallowed their anger, waiting for the gods to act. The day finally came when the silence broke. As the village square, after another land dispute, old Mama Ifeoma, the last surviving widow of the Okeke family, staggered into the gathering. Her wrapper was torn. Her eyes was red with grief. She raised her skinny hands to the sky and shouted with a voice that shook the crowd, Adaeze, Amaka, you have shed innocent blood. You have taken what you do not plant. You live in riches stained with tears. From today, may the gods of the land judge you. May your children drink from the cup of sorrow. They shall beg and not find. They shall suffer and not prosper. Your name shall rot in shame. The villagers gasped. Some covered their mouths, others shook their heads. But Mama Ifeoma walked away slowly, leaving her corpse hanging heavy in the air. Adaeze laughed that day. Let the old woman shout. Nothing will happen, he boasted as he drank palm wine with his friends. His wife, Amaka, joined in. Our children will go to the best schools in the city. We will eat meat while others eat bones. Curse or no curse, we shall enjoy. And indeed, for a while, nothing happened. Their children, Chike, Obinna, Adaeze, and Ifunanya lived in comfort. They ate the best meals, wore fine clothes, and spoke proudly in the village. People looked at them with envy, but what the parents did not know was that the curse had already taken root, waiting for its time. It started like a whisper. Adaeze fell suddenly sick. At first, it looked like a simple fever, but days turned into weeks, and his body grew weaker. He was carried to different hospitals in Onitsha, Awka, and even Enugu. Doctors gave him drugs, but nothing worked. One night, he screamed in pain, clutching his chest, calling on his ancestors to save him, but no one came. By morning, he was gone. The whole village was in shock. Amaka wailed and tore her wrapper, but deep inside, people whispered, the curse has started. Barely 6 months after her husband's death, Amaka began to waste away. She was seen walking alone at night, talking to herself. Some said she was being tormented by the spirits of those they have wronged. One morning, the children find her body lifeless on her bed, her eyes wide open in terror. Fear gripped the village. The curse had claimed both parents. The children were left alone in this shattered world. At first, the children thought they would live on their father's riches. But soon, the extended family and the elders of Unobi gathered. They declared that the lands of Mazi Adaeze were bloodlands and must be taken away. Relatives grabbed the money, goats, and farmland. The children watched in tears as their father's compound was stripped away. They were pushed out with nothing. Once proud children of wealth, they were now beggars in the same village where they had been envied. Days turned into weeks, and the children learned what true hunger meant. Sometimes, they ate only roasted cassava from the bush. Other times, they went to bed with empty stomachs. Chike, the Adaeze, tried to work as a farm laborer, but no one wanted to hire the cursed child. Obinna begged at the market. Adaeze wept often, clutching her younger sister Ifunanya as they cried themselves to sleep. The villagers no longer feared them. Instead, they mocked them. Children sang cruel songs. Children of blood, children of tears. Their parents ate what was not theirs. Women at the stream pointed at Adaeze. Is this not Adaeze's daughter? See how she hugs firewood now. So the mighty has fallen. Every insult cut deep, and Adaeze wished she could die rather than live in shame. Obinna had always dreamed of becoming a teacher. He loves books and wanted to guide children. But when the school fees came, he had nothing to pay. His mates moved on to secondary school while he stayed home watching from afar. He cried bitterly one night, holding his tattered books. Why must we suffer for the sins we did not commit? He shouted, but the only answer was the sound of crickets and the mocking laughter of fate. Adaeze, though still young, became the mother of the house. She fetched firewood, hawked palm oil, and washed clothes for people just to buy a little food for her siblings. Her once soft hands grew rough, her legs blistered from long walks. At the market, a woman would insult her. Daughter of a thief, come and scrub my wrapper well. Your parents stole land. Now you scrub floors for survival. She would swallow her tears, bow her head and keep walking. The shame was heavy, but hunger was heavier. Ifunanya, the youngest, could not understand why life had suddenly turned cruel. She would often cry and ask Adaeze, why don't we have food like others? Why do children laugh at me in school? Adaeze had no answer. One day, Ifunanya fainted at the stream after going 2 days without food. Villagers gathered and shook their heads. Ah, the curse is working indeed, they murmured. But one kind woman, Mama Ngozi, carried her home and gave her food. Still, kindness was rare in Inobi for the cursed family. Chike, the eldest son, felt the burden of being the man of the house. He tried to work as a worker in town, but anytime people discovered his family background, they dismissed him. We don't want the cursed child of Adaeze here, they would say. Frustrated, he began drinking palm wine to drown his sorrow. Each sip burned his empty stomach, but he preferred darkness to the sharp pain of reality. Adaeze begged him to stop, but he only shouted, do you think being the first son is easy? Do you think I don't feel the curse pressing on my head? Obinna could not accept their condition. He was quick-tempered and fought anyone who mocked him. One day, at the market square, some boys sang the mocking song of their family. Obinna jumped on them and fought with them. The elders summoned him and warned, "The curse has made your hands violent. If you don't control your anger, it will destroy you." But Obinna only clenched his teeth. In his heart, he hated the world that rejoiced at their downfall. One evening, while Adaeze was fetching water from the stream, her calabash slipped and broke. She fell on her knees, weeping bitterly. "Why is everything against us? Even water fights us. Even the ground rejects us." An old woman passing by whispered, "It is the curse, my child. The sins of your father follow you like a shadow. Until blood is appeased, you will never know peace." Adaeze carried those words home. Her heart was trembling. When Adaeze grew into a beautiful young woman, a young man named Emeka from a nearby village admired her. He came with his family to ask for her hand in marriage. For a moment, the children rejoiced. Maybe their suffering would reduce. But as soon as Emeka's family heard she was the daughter of Adaeze, the land grabber, they withdrew. "We cannot marry from a court family," they said. Adaeze cried all night. Her beauty could not even erase her parents' sin. Food became scarce. The little farm they tried to cultivate yielded nothing but withered crops. "Even the earth rejects us," Obinna cried bitterly, throwing the dead yam plants aside. They were forced to beg from house to house. Some gave them leftover garri. Others chased them away with insults. "Go and ask the spirits your father offended for food." People shouted. Shame became their daily clothing. Obinna's health began to fail. He grew thinner, coughing constantly. They had no money for medicine. Adaeze tried herbs, but nothing worked. One night, his cough became worse. He looked at his siblings and whispered, "Do not blame me if I live. It is not my fault. It is the curse." By morning, Obinna's body was cold. The curse had taken its second victim. The children buried Obinna with their bare hands. No villager came to help. Some even watched from afar, whispering, "Another one has gone. The curse is strong." Adaeze wept so bitterly that her voice cracked. Chike drank heavily that night, staggering in grief. Ifunanya clung to Adaeze, shaking in fear. The family was shrinking, and the curse was not done. Chike's drinking wasn't. He became restless, picking fights in the village. One evening, after a drunken brawl, he staggered home bleeding. Adaeze knelt beside him, begging him to stop, but he pushed her away, shouting, "I am tired of living like this. Let the curse kill me too." That night, he drank until his heart could take no more. By morning, Chike was dead. Now, only Adaeze and Ifunanya remained, two young women, broken, mocked and drowning under the heavy shadow of their parents' curse. The compound that once held laughter was now silent. Only Adaeze and Ifunanya remained. They sat outside their small mud hut, staring into the dark sky. Fireflies blinked in the night, but their hearts carried no light. Ifunanya whispered, "Sister, will the curse kill us too?" Adaeze held her close, her tears wetting the child's hair. No, my dear, as long as I breathe, I will fight for us. But deep inside her heart, Adaeze feared that the cause was stronger than her will. Adaeze decided to walk in the neighboring village to escape Nobi's mockery. She went to seek work as a housemaid. At first, a woman agreed to take her in, but when she discovered Adaeze's family name, she spat on the ground. Go back to your cursed home. I cannot keep the daughter of a bloodthirsty man in my house. Adaeze turned. Her legs were weak, and her heart sinking deeper into desperation. Not long after, Ifunanya fell sick. She shivered with fever. Her lips cracked from thirst. Adaeze begged for medicine, but no one helped. One herbalist demanded a goat, which she could not afford. Others laughed at her. The curse is finishing them. Let the spirits do their work. Adaeze sat by her sister all night, fanning her with a broken palm frond, whispering prayers between sobs. One day, as Adaeze went by the roadside with Ifunanya, burning in fever, a traveler passing by stopped. His name was Chinedu, a young man from another town. He looked at Adaeze and the sick girl. Why do you cry like this? Adaeze tried to explain, ashamed of her family name. But instead of running, Chinedu bought medicine from a chemist in town and gave them food. For the first time in years, someone showed them kindness. With Chinedu's help, Ifunanya slowly regained strength. She began to smile again. Adaeze's heart softened toward him, but fear remained. If he learns who we are, he too will leave. Still, she allowed him to visit. He often brought firewood and fruit. Villagers often gossip. Does he not know he is befriending cursed blood? But Chinedu ignored them. Chinedu began to admire Adaeze's strength and beauty, despite her suffering. One evening, he said, Adaeze, I don't care about curses. I see your heart, and it is pure. Adaeze's eyes filled with tears. No man has ever spoken to me like that. But she shook her head. Love cannot grow where curses dwell. My parents' sins follow me. Do not tie your destiny to mine. Yet, her heart longed for his words to be true. News of Chinedu's closeness to Adaeze reached the elders. They summoned him to the village square. Do you not know who she is? They asked him. Her family is cursed. If you continue, the curse will follow you too. But Chinedu replied boldly, the sins of parents should not destroy children. Why do you all rejoice in their pain? Where is your humanity? The crowd murmured. Some were ashamed, but the hard-hearted mocked him. Let him carry the curse with her. Despite Chinedu's courage, Adaeze could no longer bear the weight of whispers and rejection. One night, she fell on her knees at her parents' graves, wailing, Father, Mother, see what your greed has done to us. You ate fat while we eat sorrow. Your blood-stained hands drag us to the ground. Her cries echoed through the village, chilling those who heard. For the first time, people began to pity her. They realized her suffering was too deep for mockery. The next morning, Adaeze gathered Ifunanya and Chinedu and went to the village shrine. Before the chief priest, she knelt and spoke with trembling lips. We did not shed blood. We did not steal land. We are only children paying a heavy price. If the spirits of those wronged still demand justice, Let their anger end with us. Let our children not inherit this curse. Tears streamed down her face. Ifunanya held her hand. Chinedu placed his palm on her shoulder in silent support. The priest, moved by her words, offered prayers and sacrifices. For the first time, the cause was openly challenged. The villagers gathered, watching. Some mocked, some wept, others prayed silently. When the ritual was done, the priest declared, "The gods have heard. The blood of the innocent cries, but mercy is greater. The curse shall not pass beyond these children. Their suffering has ended the chain." Adaeze lifted her eyes to heaven, whispering, "Thank you, Lord. Let peace return." From that day, things slowly began to change. People who once mocked them began to greet them with softer voices. Chinedu stood by Adaeze, refusing to let go. Ifunanya's laughter returned, weak but it was real. Though their scars remained, the chain of shame was broken. The curse that ended their family ended with them. The story of Adaeze's children became a lesson across Nnobi. The sins of parents can destroy generations, but mercy and repentance can bring an end to the darkest curse. We have come to the end of this story. Please do it to like, share, comment, and kindly subscribe. See you in my next story. Thank you for your support.